My brothers and sisters and my beloved confreres, a very hearty welcome to each one of you to the School of Jesus through the 30th Sunday of the liturgical year. We are traveling with Jesus and his intimate disciples as presented to us by the evangelist Mark. Today, we are at an important stage of encountering the discipleship through the person of Bartimaeus, the blind beggar. Jesus is now in Jericho and he is encountering a strange situation where Bartimaeus, a blind beggar, is calling out on him for help. I happened to read recently a book titled Visions of a Blind Man, written by Charles Spahn. There are various books on the vision of a blind man, referring to the medicinal and the technical aspect of receiving eyesight. But through this book, Charles Spahn very clearly mentions about the insights received by Bartimaeus as he encountered Jesus. We are called today, through this person, Bartimaeus, new insights into our spiritual discipleship with Jesus. Let's keenly look into this event and see what are those insights this blind beggar is bringing into our own personal lives as he encounters Jesus today. As Jesus is traveling through Jericho, this man is crying out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." That's the very first insight. Normally, people used to call him Jesus of Nazareth, identifying Jesus as a person who hails from Nazareth. And that's his origin, his biography. But here, Bartimaeus is calling him Jesus, Son of David, a new insight into the person of Christ as the Messiah. Peter is the only one disciple who dared to call Jesus as the Christ, the Messiah. The Christ, the Messiah, is the anointed one. Now Bartimaeus is resounding that insight that Jesus is the Messiah, the anointed one who can save us and anoint each one of us. As my brothers and sisters, a new perspective of the person of Christ is poured into our soul and heart in order to make us aware Jesus is the Christ. And Bartimaeus becomes an instrument for us to realize this truth, a blind beggar. The very name itself is very important, Bartimaeus. That means son of Timaeus. He was a man who had a dignified position in the society. That's where Bible, especially the Gospels, mention about the father of a person, means he is a recognized person in the society, which means Bartimaeus had a dignified position in the society, but having lost his sight, his eyesight, now he has become a blind beggar. From the dignity that he enjoyed once upon a time, he has come down to the ground level, totally devoid of all the dignity. It is where he cries out to Jesus, "Have mercy on me." A self-realization, what I was once upon a time and what I am today, makes him to realize the goodness of the Christ who is present before him. Now the crowd around Jesus was totally indignant towards Bartimaeus. They were not interested to entertain him, but his cry was heard by the Christ, the anointed, and Jesus stops. And that is where we find Bartimaeus was not at all afraid of the crowd. He wanted to meet Jesus. And therefore, this is one of the greatest signs of discipleship. A disciple should be a fearless person. He should be a courageous person. What is courage? Courage means having fear to do something and doing that very thing about which I am afraid. Look at the martyrs of the church. They had their own fears, but when they had the insight of Christ the Anointed, they lost all fears and became courageous and went up to that test which costed them their own lives. Discipleship is a fearless lifestyle. Bartimaeus dares to come to Jesus in spite of the indignant crowd. Now he comes to Jesus and tells him what he needs. The Lord asks him, "What do you ask of me?" And he says, "Lord, give me sight." My brothers and sisters, we must remember this demand of Bartimaeus. Lord, give me sight. When Jesus' own disciples were longing for positions and possessions, as we heard last Sunday, two of them were even asking, "Lord, give us that place, one at your right side and the other at your left side." Or sometime when they were arguing among themselves, who is the greatest among us? Bartimaeus comes to Jesus asking him, "Give me sight that I may see. I need to see the treacherous situation in which I am, so that I may be able to rise up from this situation and come to you, Lord, the Anointed One." Today, perhaps, my brothers and sisters, what each of us is in need of is this sight which leads us to the insight of the person of Christ. Many disciples are unwilling to look into and to see the possibilities of their life. And that's where we have to take Bartimaeus as a great example. What did he do? When Jesus told him, "You shall receive eyesight," he threw away his outer garments, which he had kept there in order to beg and get some money into it. He threw away his externalities. He never wanted to have anything more other than this insight that he had received. Leaving behind the comfort zone, he follows Jesus. Very many of us are settled in our own comfort zones. We are unwilling to give up these zones of our life so that we can see the Christ, the Anointed. For a little child, the comfort zone may be to sleep a little more in the morning hours, forgetting his homework. For a youth, the comfort zone may be avoiding his work of the day and going for a picnic. For a grown-up, the comfort zone may be spending some pretty good time with his companions, forgetting about his family and his wife and children. For a priest and religious, the comfort zone may be to have a lethargic mindset towards the mission that is set before him. All of us are affected by our own comfort zones. Today, we need to throw away the external garment and look into the inside possibilities of our life so that we can see Christ the Anointed. Bartimaeus is a man who was leaping into that freedom of insight. My brothers and sisters, this blind beggar is a great possibility of our life. In each one of us, there is a Bartimaeus. We need to encounter this Bartimaeus with his characteristics. Are we ready to leap into this new insight? Can we cry out today to Jesus, "Jesus, Son of David, give me sight that I may be able to see you, the Christ, the Anointed." Leap into that insight. Amen.